Hi there, I'm Christina from It Is a Keeper, and today I'm showing you how to make the best homemade Caesar salad. Caesar salad is one of my favorite salads. It's a simple combination of lettuce, crispy croutons, and a creamy garlicky dressing with shaved Parmesan on top. It's so simple, but so flavorful. And this recipe is a restaurant quality recipe. And once you see how easy it is to make homemade Caesar dressing, you'll want to make it all the time. Now, before we jump in, make sure you click on the red subscribe button below so you don't miss a single recipe. And as always, if you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Okay, let's get to it. So the first thing we need to do to make our Caesar salad is we're going to get the dressing going. And I find it easiest to use a small food processor to do it. So here I just have a mini food processor, and we're gonna put everything in here and whiz it around, and we're gonna get the perfect Caesar dressing. So it starts with mayonnaise. Now that's a little different, and some of you Caesar salad purists may not like it, and it's perfectly okay. You can switch out the mayonnaise for egg yolks. Traditional Caesar salad calls for raw egg yolks, but I like the consistency of mayonnaise, so I'm gonna use it in this recipe. So here I have a nice little plunger measuring cup. I love this thing for ingredients like mayonnaise and peanut butter, and I'll put the link to this in the notes below. But we're basically just going to put the mayo into our food processor. Then we're gonna start building on the flavor. So I have some Dijon mustard. We'll just add that right into the bowl here. I also have some Worcestershire sauce. That's gonna give it a nice depth of flavor. Now, the next one, you might find a little bizarre, and you might think, I don't wanna use it. That is anchovy paste. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I don't want this to taste fishy, and it's not going to taste fishy. The anchovy paste is just gonna really boost that flavor. It's got good umami notes to it, so it's gonna boost the flavor up and you won't taste the fishiness. I promise you, but it does make all the difference. And I like to get it in a paste. It comes in a tube, so I can just squeeze in the amount I need. That looks kind of nasty, but we just need a little bit. Next, we're going to add some of my house seasoning blend, and you can get this recipe on my website, and I'll put a link in the notes below. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of that. We are also going to add some garlic. I said this was a creamy garlicky dressing. So here I have 4 cloves of garlic that I'm just going to give a nice rough chop to. So we're gonna add all of that. So we have almost all of our ingredients in there. Just need to add some lemon juice. So I have a fresh lemon, and if you give it a roll before you squeeze it, you can kind of loosen up those juices. So we're just gonna slide into that, or slice into that. And I kind of use my fingers like a sieve so the seeds don't go in there. And we're gonna use all of the juice from this lemon. So there's half. And we'll get the second half in there. It really adds a nice brightness to the dressing. I make this all the time. It's so easy and so good. And we will put the lid on the food processor, and I'm just going to pulse it until that garlic is broken down. So I use the low setting and just keep pulsing. All right, so I think that that's good. I'm going to give it a quick taste. I want to really taste for seasoning here to make sure that there's enough salt and that all the flavors have come together. I'm also going to use my spoon before I go into taste, just to scrape down the sides. All right, let's give that. Oh, that's good. Oh, all those flavors are coming back at me now. You guys, this is good stuff. All right, let me just pulse that around one more time before we add our Parmesan. Okay. So now we're going to transfer this to a bowl before we stir in the Parmesan. All right, so here I have a bowl. We're gonna transfer this dressing to a bowl and add the Parmesan. So just hold that blade in place, get that all out. Some spatula. So the last part of our dressing now is to add the Parmesan cheese. So I just have some grated Parmesan. And we're going to pour that in and give it a stir. We want to incorporate all of that Parmesan cheese. I probably should have used a bigger bowl. Don't be like me, use a bigger bowl. And use a good quality Parmesan cheese for this recipe. I wouldn't use the pre-packaged stuff that is in the grocery aisles. Go to the cheese counter and get the good grated Parmesan. It really makes a difference in this recipe. All right, just look at that. It looks luscious. I can't wait. We're gonna drizzle it on top of our salad. So let me show you how to put together the rest of this salad, and then we're gonna give it a taste. Okay, so the next step in our homemade Caesar salad is to make the croutons. So you don't actually have to make them if you don't want to. You could easily use pre-packaged croutons, but these are super simple to make. And the best part is you can use stale bread to make them. So I just have some baguette here that was left over from something else I made, and I'm just going to cut it into cubes. So using my bread knife, I'm just going to cut it up into cubed chunks. I'll cut the edges off and just make, you can make them as big or as small as you'd like, but it's really very simple. So our croutons are all cut up here. I'm just arranging them in a single layer, and then I'm gonna drizzle some olive oil over top. This is gonna help toast them nice. I'm also gonna put a sprinkling of my house seasoning blend, which I will include the recipe to this in the video description below. And I'm just gonna use my hands to give everything a toss so it gets a nice, all the breadcrumbs get in, or bread cubes get a nice coating. If the bottoms are sticking up, I'm just gonna flip them over because we're gonna pop it under the broiler. We don't really wanna broil the crust of it, so we want the other parts of the bread kind of facing upward. So I'm just gonna make sure everything is facing the right direction. Okay, this is looking good. All right, I'm just gonna wipe my hands off, and then we are going to put these bread cubes under the broiler and keep a close eye on them because they will toast up pretty quickly. You just want them to dry out, get nice and crisp, and to turn a nice golden brown. So we're gonna hop over to the broiler, get those done, and I'll see you right back here in a minute. So now it's time to put our Caesar salad together. We have all of our components made. Our croutons turned out nice and crispy, and they're perfect. I can smell that garlic flavor coming out of the house seasoning blend. So I'm just going to take a bit of our homemade Caesar dressing. And here's a tip. If it gets a little too thick for you, you could always just add a little bit of water to thin it out. I do that all the time, especially when you refrigerate it and keep it in the refrigerator for a little while. It does get a little bit thick. So I just thin it with some water to get it to the consistency that I like. So we pile on the dressing, and then I'm just gonna use my fork and the spoon to kind of toss the lettuce in with the dressing so everything gets coated and gets evenly, the dressing gets evenly distributed. Oh, I can smell it already. I love it. Love, love, love. You see how easy this is, and trust me, your friends will be impressed if you make this from scratch. So to the top of our lettuce, I'm gonna add some shaved Parmesan. So here I just have a piece of Parmesan cheese and a vegetable peeler. And I'm just going to, without getting my fingers, just shave the Parmesan right on top of it. You get those nice salty bites. Let's get that, maybe one more piece on there. And we'll just kind of distribute that. Sometimes I break them down a little bit if they're too big. All right, and we're going to add our crispy croutons to the top here. So I think maybe 3 or 4 are good for this salad. Ooh, look at that. All right, let's dig in. Oh, this is so good. All the textures and the flavors come together into really the perfect salad. You could top this with chicken or even steak or shrimp, and it would make a great lunch or a light dinner. Oh, I love this. And you can store the extra Caesar dressing in the refrigerator for about up to a week. And like I said, remember, you can always thin it out with a little bit of water. You guys need to try this recipe. It is so good. Thanks for watching. You can get the full printable recipe in the video description below. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss a single thing, and check out the rest of my videos where you can find more of my favorite easy recipes and quick tips. I'll see you next time. Bye.